Domenico in the Room podcast with a very special guest. For the first time joining me in the room is Colin Robinson, coming off second amateur win and finish for Valor Fighting Challenge a couple of weeks ago. Colin, how you doing, man? And man, how you feeling about your second fight and second finish?
Man, I'm doing good. First off, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. I'm excited being on here. The past few years, getting into MMA, being able to see all these guys come on this podcast and everything. It's really cool and everything. So I appreciate you having me on. And going back, feeling good, man. It was a fun fight. It was a fun experience. It was definitely a very interesting experience, but nonetheless, it was an unbelievable experience. And moving on to 2-0, it sounds good and it feels good, but I'm ready to get back into it and obviously keep improving. But it was a big win and big confidence booster for sure.
Excellent. Well, you had your first amateur experience with Valor back in October 2020. Two fights within 4 to 6 months. That's not bad with the current situation going around with limited fighting, especially for amateurs. Man, how have you managed to get fights for them? And who's pitching your name out there to get these opportunities?
Yeah. It's funny. Obviously, during quarantine, I was hoping to try getting a fight in May for Premier, because actually about a year ago, starting in January, I started training with Pat Casey, Miguel Cuevas, very noble guys in the New England area. And, I started training with them, full time, and we were really hitting it. And I was hoping possibly by May to get my amateur debut, but obviously things happened, and, can't control that. And so I told myself that, during quarantine, I was going to make the best out of this. And I actually was able to get in touch with Rob Font. And I actually got working with Rob Font throughout this summer, which was unbelievable experience, not only to be able to train with Rob Font, but to be able to see guys like him, Cal Cater, Tyson, and Tom Pags, just to be able to see, and Nick as well, Nick Fior, just to be able to see how those guys approached everything and see their kind of championship mindsets. And that really, really kind of brought me to life, that showed me that, hey man, like you really gotta want this. And so I just actually went on a reaching out to promotions left and right. I reached out to a promotion out in Texas, South Dakota, about like, hey, if you guys ever need anything, just let me know. I'll drive out there. And sure enough, I reached out to Valor Fight Challenge, and Tim, the promoter, Tim Liu, reached back out and he said, hey, would you be able to drive here? And I said, absolutely. And so we kind of got in touch then, and then the rest is history, and was able to get my first fight on October, and then obviously get my second one a few weeks ago.
Well, man, congratulations. I mean, that first fight in October, you had a first round finish there. TKO strikes finish right there. And then you come back and, 2021, you start the year off with a second round sub finish, man. So you're hitting all aspects of the game here. Let's talk a little bit about that, man. Where did you get your start in martial arts, or in athletics in general?
Yeah. I grew up in a judo-based background. I grew up doing judo, competing, all tournaments everywhere. Tohoku Judo Club. It's located in Somerville. I believe it might be Somerville, Cambridge, but Tohoku Judo was actually the place that we trained at. And grew up doing judo, and then eventually transitioned to wrestling, and then throughout kind of middle schoolish jiu-jitsu at US MMA. And so I was doing that, and then obviously high school, I pursued wrestling as well, but I ended up going down the college football route because, I kind of was just all about football, and I love football and everything, and that ended up being my best offer, to be able to go to college and be able to, play and be able to get my degree. So football path was my choice, but I grew up doing judo, wrestling, so I felt very comfortable on the ground, and so obviously my last fight, it showed, and was able to get the finish.
Excellent, my man. Well, a true athlete we have on our hands right here. 22 years old. What stopped you from going farther with the football? You were a tight end, you college, what was the change from football to MMA?
Yeah. So when in high school, I was getting recruited by a lot of schools. I had a few offers from Division I programs, but unfortunately, I was the classic high school student that told everyone football is going to get me in, and unfortunately, football does not get you in. So if anyone's out there thinking that, your talent's going to get you into college, it's not. And unfortunately, I had to pay the hard way, but very thankful for that. So, Division I didn't work out. I was like, oh, I'll just go Division II. Perfect. Division II schools liked me, and then I didn't get into those. And so then I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do? And so I ended up going to school in Springfield, Mass, Western New England College, Western University now it's called. And I went there, and that's a very notable Division III program. And that was probably one of the more life-changing years of my life. It really taught me how to compete at a high level, and also to see that, you're not the big fish in the small pond anymore. I got humbled very fast. And, these seniors, they were taking it to me, and I was like, man, what is going on? I thought this was going to be a breeze. And, that was a really, really tough year from transition. And I told myself I was going to get my grades together, and I was able to get my grades together. And then at that point, I had a lot of free pickings. I got to go to a lot of schools I wanted to go to back in high school, but something kind of changed. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't have that desire for it. I had a kind of an individual desire. I love the team sports, but something that kind of drove me nuts with team sports is you can play your best game, you could be on your best level, and it might still not be the difference. Whereas going back to wrestling and judo, if you're on your game and you have your best performance, there's a good strong chance you're going to win that match or win that competition. So something kind of changed my freshman year, where I was like, you know what? Let's maybe just focus on getting the degree and maybe start training, MMA. And of course, my mother and family, oh, I don't think you should do that, this, that. And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to transfer to Worcester State. And so I ended up transferring to Worcester State. And then I got in touch with the Gabriel Gonzaga gym at Team Link. And then the rest was history, where I ended up getting the connection to go over to the Team Link Worcester. And, I kind of just played college football just to enjoy it and get my college degree. And I was playing it to be able to get through college. But then in the back of my mind the whole time was, all right, we're gonna start pursuing fighting once this is done. And I did make the promise to my mother that I would get my college degree before I would have my first fight ever. So, I was able to graduate this past summer in 3 years. I missed my senior year. I decided to skip it. Luckily, obviously, with COVID, I wouldn't even have had a senior year. Yeah. So I'm very thankful that worked out. But, so I just decided to forego my senior year and decided to get right into MMA. And, I'm very thankful for that. But, the college football path was definitely a tough one, but very thankful I took that path because I wouldn't be here.
Well, your mother must be very happy, because watching your last two fights, I mean, there hasn't been much damage done to you. Football, you're getting knocked around. I mean, you were a tight end, so you were catching that ball, you were blocking a lot. So there was a lot of impact. So I'm sure she might be a little relieved now that she sees this. But, MMA is a very, 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 I don't want to say brutal, but we know it can get very, very scary in there for family members to watch. But, it's a sport, and it's something that can elevate you into, a great living. So, my man, you're with Team Link Worcester, man. There's some killers in that camp, bro. Muay Thai, Mike Triana, Ortiz in there, and then you got your coach there. But so many people have come and gone and still going through that gym, not necessarily that their main gym, but they go there to get the amazing Muay Thai work and that stand-up, man. How'd you end up as that your main camp? Is it because it's closer to your home, or you just found that's where you feel more at home at that camp?
Yeah. So obviously, I mentioned before, I was kind of going back and forth during quarantine with Rob, with a lot of other guys. And, one thing that really stood out was obviously before the shutdown, I was training at Team Link, and obviously with COVID, that forced them to shut down. And so obviously I was just reaching out to other people, training with Rob, training with all those guys. But the one thing that really stood out was just how much I really appreciated Coach Ibre, Mikey, Aaron, Matt Negrotti, all these guys that I trained with. You don't realize how special something is until it's kind of taken away from you. And once we were able to get things opened up, I made that commitment to tell myself, listen, this is the place that I want to be. And Coach Ibre is an unbelievable coach. He's a great mentor. He's a great person. And, the guys that we have in there, like Mikey, Aaron, Matt, and so many other guys, and like you say, guys that just come through just to get work. It's an unbelievable environment, and more than just teammates. We're brothers, and it's a family environment. And so I love everything about there, and it is luckily close to where I live in Worcester. But regardless, I'd be driving out there no matter what, because it's an unbelievable gym, great atmosphere, and the best coaching I believe that you can get around. Coach Ibre is unbelievable. What he does just with his fighters is, it speaks for itself. And guys like Mikey, who's got a big fight coming up for Lion Fight soon on March. And then Aaron Ortiz and Matt Negrotti actually will be fighting the end of this month for K1 kickboxing too. So we're starting to get active again and everything. But it's like you said, there's killers, and it's a killer be killed every single day, and that's what best of everyone.
Well, dude, you're in so many great camps, so getting that work or moving around. I mean, you mentioned Rob Font. Rob Font is he's being brought up by Tyson as management and the UFC, but he's got young dudes like Tom Pags under his wing that he's bringing up for the next generation. And it's cool that you're getting some work with him. So that's someone that can mention your name down the line if you're true and you put in that work, dude. So as far as this last fight, man, we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about what's in store for you in 2021. But this was your second AMI fight, fighting for the same organization. What was it like the second time around? I mean, you were there before, you know what it's like, but what was the confidence level, and how much did it jump the second time around?
Yeah, definitely the first fight, man. Oof, you tell people that, growing obviously from college, I was telling everyone like, I'm going to fight, I'm going to do this. And, you tell these people all that stuff, and eventually, it comes this time you're going to make that walk. And man, I wasn't really too nervous because I prepared hard for that first fight. I prepared hard. We went at it really hard, and we made sure we were ready. But I remember before I made that walk, I was like, oh man, here it is. Like this is it. Like all the time we told people, and it wasn't so much like a nerve, like, oh, you can't do this. It was just like it's just an indescribable type feeling. And so I remember making that first walk, and I was like, man, this is it. And then compared to the second one, where I was very confident and very much more calm. And the one thing that was very interesting about this last fight is, like, we've talked about before, is I went through 7 different opponents for this fight. So at the same time, I think that was it was almost a blessing, where all I was focusing on this fight was me. I wasn't focusing on so much what they were going to do. I was focused on what I was going to do to them. I was focused on what I was going to do in these situations. What happens if we get into a clinch? What happens if we go on the ground? I was focused on everything I was going to do instead of worrying about, what one of these 7 guys was going to bring. And so, making that walk the second time was definitely much more calm and relaxed and more composed, rather. The first fight, luckily, obviously, was taken out. I took him out around a minute, like 15. So it wasn't really too fast. I mean, it wasn't really too long to be in the ring. I got the jitters out real fast, got him down, and finished him. Whereas the second fight, I was much more composed, and luckily, I went against a very dangerous fighter. He was 3-2, Colton Dunn. He was a top 10 middleweight amateur in Tennessee, and he was a very well-known guy in that area. And not many guys wanted to fight him because he was a very reckless and very aggressive fighter. And those guys can make very tough matchups for anyone, just because it can make you kind of fight their fight and not yours. So I was very happy about being able to get a fight like that. And that second fight was much more calm and more composed than that first one, for sure.
Excellent. Were fans in attendance? Were they allowed to be there?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Did you have people take the trip, other than your coaches and whoever had to go with them?
Yeah, actually, so thankfully my girlfriend came with me. She's the one that cooks all the
Oh,
meals,
cool.
everything like that. So thankfully, she was able to make the drive with me and my coach, Coach Ibre. And then actually, my cousin lives down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he was in my corner as well. He's kind of like my far distant wrestling coach. He wrestled at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. He was a Division I wrestler, and we FaceTime, a lot. We talk, we text, and just over wrestling positions, stuff like that. And he's a very good mind for wrestling, and so he was in my corner. But the good thing is he understands his role. He knows that Coach Bray's the main voice, so he'll mention something if there's anything out of place or he sees. But so having those two in my corner is awesome. And then luckily, my other cousin lives in lives basically in Chattanooga. It's a mile outside of it, and so they were able to all come and watch. So I had my whole father's side down there, so that was pretty cool to be able to be there for you rather than just fans there. So it was definitely very cool.
Excellent, my man. Well, congratulations, man, on another great performance. Valor's a really, 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 successful organization, and having fighters from New England be able to travel there and get in the work, man. Kudos to them, and thank you for that. What's next? Is that someone that you want to fight for a neck? I would assume definitely again, but is that next in the cards, or are you looking to shop yourself around and get some work somewhere else around the country?
Yeah, so right now we're very happy with Valor. It's an unbelievable organization. Tim Lou does a great job. The fact that he was able to get me, obviously 7 different fights, was unbelievable, and 4 during fight week and 2 in 24 hours, which we kind of thought at one point like, this is it, we're not going to be able to get a fight, and he was able to get us guys, and obviously we had to take a little bit of a bigger step up, but listen, when you're prepared, when you train hard, you're able to take the fights. And so right now Valor is something that we're absolutely interested in continuing doing. We really love it there. Great atmosphere, great fans, just everything's very organized. So right now we're very happy with being there, but obviously if there's other good opportunities out there, we'd be more than willing to do that. But right now we're very happy with Valor. And as far as it goes, we're kind of seeing where things lie with, a next fight, but we've been offered a few good fights and everything. So, Coach, he handles all that, and I just do the fighting. So that's, another thing off my shoulders, which is amazing. And once again, why he's an unbelievable coach. He's able to do what's best for me and what's best for his fighters. So, Valor is absolutely something we're continuing to do.
Excellent. Well, I've been to Tennessee a few times. I've driven to Tennessee a few times years and years ago. I used to be a big NASCAR fan, so we used to go around to all the tracks around the country. Used to pick like 10 tracks during the summer and hit them. And what was it? One of the ones in Tennessee, I forgot which one it was. But we used to go there all the time. It was like a 14-hour drive, I believe, 14 or 16-hour drive. Not bad, but so next time you fight there, man, I might want to tailgate and drive, follow you guys up or down, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, hell yeah.
Excellent, my man. Well, dude, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to know, this journey you've taken from, a childhood with judo and wrestling and, football through high school and how you got into college and how you worked your way through to, get known, and then jumping into MMA and right off the bat, 22 years old, 2 amateur fights under your wing and, out-of-state fights and finishing, man. Congratulations, bro, on the success.
Thank you. And, listen, everyone always says it, but I really wouldn't be here, honestly, if it wasn't for, my family, for my friends, and also Coach Ibre, my training partners, Aaron, Mikey, Matt Nagrati, McLovin, everyone out there, Rob, Tom Pags holding mitts for me that time, just, all these guys, that have been, part of this journey. Like, it's like everyone says, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. And it's so true. And just being able to just small little things. So, I'm very thankful for all the people out there that have helped me. My mother, something I didn't mention, but I lost my father at a young age. So, my mom's been everything for me. And so I know definitely MMA, no mother wants to deal with that. But, she's a big fight fan. She's a huge Ronda Rousey fan. So, you know, she's coming along with it. And then, of course, my big brother, he lives in New York City, pursuing a career in acting. So, you know, we're both on a journey right now. So, you know, it's definitely a fun journey right now, and looking forward to everything that's going to come with it. But can't thank everyone enough. You know, it's been unbelievable, and you know, it's about time New England shows everyone. You know, obviously in LFA we're starting to show it too. You know, New England MMA is legit, and you know, we're going to start showing it more and more regionally, locally, and then also on the big stages. You know, Rob Font's going to make some noise, and then Calvin Cater's going to be back, and then I'm sure Tom Pags is going to be making noise soon as well too.
Well, my man, you got a lot of company in New England, you know, to carve that path for you, bro. 22 years old, a big dude you are, 185-pounder, taking dudes out with a lot of experience in there, man. Congratulations, bro, and we'll definitely talk soon. And as soon as you hear something about that next opportunity, you let me know, and we'll talk all about it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Love to come back on. You know, I love this podcast. You know, I'm all about it. Big communication guy. I was a communication major at Worcester State, so I'm all about that podcast life.
Excellent, man. Come on down anytime, man. You're not too far away. Co-host with me sometime, and you know, we'll have some people call in and we'll pick their brains together.
Perfect. That sounds cool to me. Awesome, Steve. Thank you once again. I appreciate it.
All right, Colin. You have a wonderful night, man, and enjoy them wins, bro, and we'll talk real soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.